Inland Sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Inland Sports Show. We've been talking a lot of high school football here on the show the last couple of weeks as we have our summer football series. Big shout out to Coach McMains at King, Coach Pontius at Notre Dame for joining us here on this show. Now we're going to pivot to some college football. We love live streaming the games for SBVC on IEMG. That's a lot of acronyms. Join us live on the show right now. He's the head coach of the Wolverines, and he is, I don't know, one of the smartest, funniest guys that I know. Maybe I don't know enough people, but he is. It's Daniel Algattas, head coach for San Bernardino Valley College. And Coach, are you guys in helmets and pads already? Are you almost there? Like where are we at right now in the season for college?
We're almost there. Right now we're in a bit of a dead period, so we have this week off. Players are coming in getting their final fitments for shoulder pads and helmets. We have some players that we're helping with their final registration. If there are any transfers out there coming from 4 years or 2 years, those guys are meeting with counselors this week, getting everything done this week and next week, and then we head into shoulder pads and helmets next Monday, the 8th of August.
Well, Coach, the nature of the beast for junior college is typically you have these guys for 2 years. It's, you got to win now, the revolving door. Is it hard to say? I mean, because you know who's coming back. You've had some guys do like some more workouts, but is there always maybe a couple guys that trickle in with the start of fall training camp? You're like, oh, I didn't know that guy was going to be here. Like, you don't really know who's on your team until they show up and you're like, okay, they're on our team now.
Yeah, good years that happens. Good years that you get a bunch of surprises throughout the year. But certainly it's always good to have some surprises right before you come into fall camp, especially when they're in spots of need. So yeah, we're still a young team this year. We do have some returners from last year, but we had a good amount of turnover. We had a good amount of scholarships last year from some freshman guys. A lot of them, because of COVID, they were sophomores academically, and so they left a bit early. So left us a little bit bare in the upper class, but we love our freshman class. It's a full freshman class. There's still a lot of spots that need to be determined, and so we're excited about the guys that we have, the guys that are here, and the guys that are just getting here.
All right, spots to be determined. We love talking quarterbacks. Is that a spot to be determined? Do we have a front runner? What does that quarterback situation look like right now, Coach?
To be completely honest, I think almost all spots are to be determined because we need to see so many of these freshmen in helmets and shoulder pads, and we've just worked to develop them all summer. I don't think any decisions can rightly be made. So the opportunities are there. I think we have a hunch, but we won't act on that hunch until the players do. To be completely honest, I think that's what it's about. It's about opportunity, the best players playing, and us just giving everything we have to their development and allowing them to make the decision. So, we want them to get into shoulder pads and helmets, but those decisions will need to be made fairly quickly. But, excited about the coaching, the development, all those things that are going on right now.
Coach, you had a great run in the American Conference, went to the championship game. Now you guys are in the National Conference. What do you think it's going to take to be competitive and make maybe a run at a championship game again and get into a bowl game?
Yeah, the first 3 years for me at San Bernardino Valley were the only 3 that I've spent in the American division. The rest of my career has been in the national division. So I think, the way that we approached it at the beginning is the same that we do now. I think for the players, the program, administration, I think they've come to realize what more it takes. So it takes a little bit more depth than we've had, but also the idea that every week is going to be a tough one. You don't have a couple of weeks circled on your calendar. You circle every single week on your calendar and be ready to go and have enough warriors to get through it every single week. So that's a big difference. Much like they talk about the SEC, you could play one team here and there and play big and be able to rest up, for 6 weeks later, but not so much the case in the national division. You got to be ready to go every week. So I think physically we're more ready for it than we have been. We were talented last year, but maybe just not physically quite ready coming out of COVID. But this year, there are no excuses. We've been ready. We've been on campus, and we look forward to a more successful year.
Well, Coach, you always surround yourself with a great supporting staff, great assistant coaches, and this is big news. Iona Uiagalelei, who was at the University of Arizona, he was obviously at Mount Sac as well, and some other assistants are joining you at SBVC this season. Can you elaborate on that and what this might mean to the Wolverines this upcoming season?
We're very excited to have Yona. I know personally I'm very excited. This is the third time I've tried to lure him to San Bernardino Valley, and a full-time job was created or was opened up, and it had to be filled within a couple of days, and very short list when you think who would I want to work with, that could come in a week or 2 weeks before fall camp starts, that would get it, that would understand, that would fit in, maybe that you've worked with before. And luckily it was somebody who's fantastic. Yona, coached at Mount Sac since I believe 2001. So he started coaching there just before I played there. Then when I returned to be an assistant coach, he was already the defensive coordinator and had already had many defenses that are, top 5 in the state. So in his 20 years there, they've been top 5 in the state almost every single year. When we won national championships, when we were coordinating opposite sides of the ball, we got a chance to work together, to grow together. So we know each other's style, we know each other's personality. We've planned practices and done things like that. We've recruited together. Not only that, but some of the coaches on our staff have played for him or coached for him, and bringing a couple of coaches over. There really isn't anybody on the defensive staff other than one person that hasn't worked or coached for him or already knows the system and can make it a very easy transition for the players.
So, Coach Uiagalelei is going to be the defensive coordinator. You're going to be running the offense, I assume?
Yes. Yeah.
So with you putting up, I don't know, we'll say 50 points per game. I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number. And you got Coach Uiagalelei, one of the best defensive minds out there. I mean, it looks like it's set up to be a pretty exciting season for the Wolverines.
Yeah, when you come in this late, he's going to have to feel everything out, get used to a new place, all of those things. So, we don't want to put too much on his plate. There are too many expectations on his plate, but I'm sure he's going to do that all on his own. He's a high achiever. He always has been, but he's so good. So I'm sure that, if we find our way by the time we get into conference, that's when it really, really starts to matter, and see what we can do in terms of, getting to a bowl game or getting into the postseason, and developing these guys into scholarship football players and helping them get out. Something that, he's helped over 200 student athletes in his time at Mount Sac, earn scholarships, and another 17 or 18 that he coached directly under his position, go to the NFL. So he's a great developer, not just a great recruiter, not just a great defensive coordinator. He's really is the whole package.
All right, Coach, finally, let's wrap it up like this. Obviously, you said you're in a little bit of a dead period, so right before you get into the full season, what do you do with all your extra time right now? I know you're into Rubik's Cube, you're into 3D printing, screen printing, building things, riding bikes. Like, what are you doing right now with all this extra time?
That's a good explanation of the day so far. But yeah, planning what I'm going to be wearing for the year, I guess, in terms of like screen printing or extra designs. But no, talking to players, getting guys familiar with the area, linking them up with the counselors, helping new coaches get onboarded, holding Zooms or review lessons for any of the new players or returning players that need help. So just kind of doing that throughout the day, and then enjoying time with, dropping off the kids or picking them up from school. We're on a track system, so we've been in school since July for the little ones. So, being home for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, pretty much. But, we'll stop by campus tomorrow, see if anybody needs any help. If you guys want to pick up spirit packs, guys are getting fitted for helmets, making sure all that's going well. Not too far away from campus, but just doing all those things. And then, working with Coach Yona on practice plans and install calendars, and and dialing those things in that, usually we probably would have done about a month ago. But, like I said, it's much easier when, your expectations are already, you already know what to expect from each other and how we like to do things. So yeah, so kind of a lot of work, but it's a little bit less stressful.
Yeah, I'm sure just being comfortable with one another is going to pay dividends. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I always appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
and can't wait to see you out there at SBVC. I'm gonna stop by Death Valley pretty soon. See you guys in action once the helmets and pads come out.
Appreciate it. We hope to see you there soon.
All right, that is Daniel Algattas, head football coach for the SBVC Wolverines here on the Inland Sports Show. Thank you so much, Coach. Always appreciate it.
Inland Sports.